What's up, sports fans? Ryan Kostrowski here with the DFS 5-pack. We're here for another installment of Tip of the Day, where we just take a couple of minutes and run through a little bit of the nuances of daily fantasy sports. It's a tough game, guys. Been playing this every single day for for better part of half a decade now, or whatever the heck it's been. It's been a while. And it's a tough game, and it's getting tougher because we get less new players, and a lot of the guys who have been around for a while. A lot of you guys listening to this, you're probably so much better than when you first started. So there's not as much fresh blood to pick on as there once was. So we got to continue to up our game and get better on a daily basis. If you're new to the show, though, guys, easiest way to get more DFS videos, hit that red button that says subscribe. Thumbs up is always appreciated. Brought it up on the actual public picks video today. If we can get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the month, we got about 8 days to do it, a little over 300 to go. We will do a few extra members-only videos free for the public. As far as getting members-only videos for free, one way to get one free today, go sign up to be a minimum pledge on patreon.com. Only $2 a month, and you will get today's members-only video for free. You also get a 1 out of 8 shot to win the full month of the DFS services. So pretty good odds, actually. 1 out of 8, not bad. And let's talk about today's tips. So I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit today, and I want to talk about spreading out ownership for multi-entry and GPPs. I was in Cleveland this week visiting Matt, and we were talking over this a little bit. This time of the year, Matt plays only GPPs. I do a lot of cash, a lot of GPPs, but this time of the year, I massively prefer GPPs in basketball. We only got about 10 games left. It's getting nuts right now. Guys are getting shut down left and right for the year. We got G League guys coming up. There's a lot to look at, and it's just a little higher variance for what you can expect out of people. One thing I do like to lean on is guys who still have something to play for. But I am going to be playing more GPPs. For a good portion of the year, I'm a one lineup guy, which means, I don't have to worry about how I vary my players. If I got some extra time, sometimes I'll do the 3-entry max, but I'm not a 150 lineup per day kind of guy. Most people who have young kids and have lives just can't be. We just don't have the time at the end of the day to do that. And I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. I wish I had the time to do that. I would love to play 150 lineups or 20 lineups every day and use an optimizer. Just not in the cards. And I'm sure a lot of you guys probably don't want to deal with that, but you are going to do some variation of multi-entry GPP. So trying to figure out how much exposure do you want to a certain player that you like. So the other day, you guys probably caught the public video. We talked about Ricky Rubio, Marvin Bagley, Andre Drummond, a few other players. How aggressive did I want to be on each of these guys? Sometimes if you feel like a guy's going to blow up, there is no shame in just going all in on him. If he stinks, if he falls out, shake it off and move on to the next day. But Marvin Bagley was a guy that I rostered with great confidence that day, and I ended up playing him in 6-6. He was awesome. I'm glad I played him. He was great. If he had been terrible and fouled out, I would have just had to, tuck my tail between my legs and run home for the day. We've all shown zeros before. It happens. It happens way more than we would like, but it is a part of the game. So if you are really confident in a guy, and you feel very strongly he's going to blow up, don't hesitate him to play 6 out of 6. Another guy that we liked a lot, but I wasn't quite as confident in, only because the minutes aren't always there, was Ricky Rubio. But I liked him enough to roll him in 5 out of 6. Now, what I did in the other one, which I found to be an interesting pivot, was I went Donovan Mitchell in 1, and I pulled Ricky Rubio on that one. We know how bad the Atlanta Hawks are against guards. But my hesitation here came not because I didn't think Ricky Rubio would expose the matchup. Ultimately, he played enough, and he did. But just thinking Donovan Mitchell might go ham in this one. And Mitchell ended up being solid, not nearly as good as Ricky Rubio, I think, on a points per dollar, but solid on a larger salary on a day where you could use it. The flip side of it was there was guys like Buddy Hield, who I only liked enough to give about 1 out of 6 exposure to. And when we talk about our recommendations on players today, it's, sometimes we'll talk about him. This is a guy I'm, taking a shot on once in GPPs. This is the guy I'm going to play everywhere. This is the guy I will give, almost full exposure to, but not all the way. And it is a little bit of a guessing game, and it is something that you have to feel out. And as you're making lineups, maybe you want to play a guy in 5 out of 6, but, your 6 lineup you're doing, you've got him rostered 4 times, and he just doesn't fit. Sometimes he'll make those switches later in the day. But occasionally, and I want to go back to Bagley, if you really, really believe in a guy for that day, if you're running 150 lineups, that's different than 6. Maybe you want to pull him a couple of times. But if you really believe in a guy, sometimes you just got to grab your stones and just go for it. And just realize that if you really, really believe in this guy, you want to play him all the way through. You don't want to not play him, because then maybe you play 10 lineups and you don't play him twice, but he exceeds in 10. Now those two lineups just aren't going to be as good. So if you really believe in a guy, I think you have to draw that line in the sand occasionally and just go for it. And then there are some times where maybe you mostly believe in him, and that goes back to the Rubio pick. So the best lineup I ended up with that night, as you can see, I had Marvin Bagley in there. He was 40%, but I believed in him, and he was awesome. Coming up with, I believe it comes out to like 8 times. A really, really good day. Drummond was a guy that I believed in. The way that the slate broke down, he was good. He wasn't great. He was good. I played him in 4 and 5 out of 6. I played Karl Anthony Towns in 4 or 5 out of 6. And if you guys remember that day, all the talk was Jokic, Drummond, and Cat. I totally faded Jokic for the day. I didn't believe in him. I didn't like that game for him, and that ended up working out okay. I played Cousins once. He was really good. It was a nice pivot, actually, off of Drummond or Cat. He was better on a points per dollar basis. Ricky Rubio, I gave him 5 out of 6. He was excellent. Troy Brown was another one. I didn't love Troy Brown, but you knew he was going to be chalky. I thought the easier play was just to move with him. I played him in all 6, and he was good. Not great. He was good off of his small salary. But ultimately, the guy that we talked about here, the reason that this was the best lineup on the day, because most of my lineups had most of the same guys, was I played Buddy Hield in this one, and he played better than some of the other so-so plays out there. I didn't love Buddy Hield. We'll just say it was a coincidence he worked out in this one. He had a nice shooting day, made 7 3-pointers in a decent matchup against Dallas, and that was the reason that this lineup put up 317 as opposed to 307, like some of the other lineups did. The difference between 317 and 307 was getting like 5 times your buy-in as opposed to doubling your money. This is also a reminder of why I don't check my lineups till the end of the night. So I opened up my lineups with 5 minutes to go in the last game, and this lineup was sitting there in 3rd place out of 1189, which was good for like 33 times buy-in or something like that. Tyreek Evans makes a couple of buckets and a rebound, is like the only guy that anybody really had going. And I ended up moving from 3rd to 17th. Now, I don't play for big money, so it's not like I'm going to sit here and cry. I wasn't about to win 20 grand or anything like that. But when you move from like 33 times buy-in to 5 times buy-in, that's a really big difference. So that's kind of a side note. Matt and I were talking this week as we were together about the different ways that we view like playing DFS and how we look at it. I don't check my lineups till late because I just don't want to get overly involved in it. Even waiting till almost the end of the night, I popped open my lineups to feel like I was really balling. And there's a difference. When you go from making 7 times your buy-in on the day to just doubling your money, I'll take doubling my money any day, but it's no big deal. We've all doubled our money plenty of times. But when you're making 7 times your buy-in for the day, you're feeling really good about it. But that's how quickly it changes, and why I personally choose not to get overly involved in watching DraftKings throughout the day, and I just watch the box scores so I can memorize rotations. But we all play this game differently. Do what's best for you. Just thought I'd throw in my 2 cents on that one. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll be working on members only here shortly. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. Let's get up to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the month so we can give you guys some free extra content.